This is going to be a 45-minute recording of a lying down yoga sequence in the style of mindfulness-based stress reduction, or MBSR. This is a gentle yoga sequence. It's not meant to be strenuous. And something to keep in mind during the process is the emphasis on the awareness and not so much on perfecting the movements. Also important to keep in mind is recognition of your own physical limits. So not pushing beyond any point where it's going to cause you pain. We'll be doing this sequence from a lying down position to start, but if you're unable to lie down on your back, you can do this sitting in a chair, and you can modify the moves accordingly. So following the guide of the moves and just modifying as best you can from a seated position. If you're able to lie down on your back, if your body will allow, it's probably best to follow along in that way. So coming to a lying down position, you can put a small pillow underneath your head if that helps support the neck. With your arms on the side of your body, your palms facing up, if that's comfortable, the feet falling away from each other. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable, or leave them open. Just being here, being with the body as a whole, lying here. Lifting the arms up towards the ceiling. And being with the movement in the body. And lifting the arms up over the head as far as they'll go, meeting your own limit. If they're able to touch the floor, that's fine. If not, just whatever your body will allow today. Holding in this limit, or whatever point the body allows you to move to for a moment, and then lifting the arms back up towards the ceiling and to the ground. Being with the movement. And doing this again, one more time, at your own pace. There may be thoughts that come up during this yoga sequence that may distract or seem as if they're distractions from the awareness of the movements. And it's just the nature of the mind to wander, and you haven't done anything wrong. And when the mind wanders, just coming back to the movements as best you can. So bringing the arms out so that you're lying in the position where you look like a T, a letter T, arms still on the ground. Bringing the feet up so that the bottom of the feet are on the ground and the knees are up, pointing towards the ceiling. The next movement is sometimes called a pelvic tilt. So we can start by lifting the tailbone up, leaving the mid-back on the ground, and pushing the lower back into the ground. And then bringing the tailbone and the butt back down to the ground and lifting the lower back up so that there's a space between the lower back and the ground. And moving back and forth between these two positions. Noticing how moving in this way has other consequences in the body. There's movement in the head or the shoulders, the feet, as you do these pelvic tilts. Coming back to a resting position with the back and the butt on the floor. Lifting the legs off the ground and the knees up towards the chest. Again, meeting your own limit. If it's comfortable or possible, wrapping the arms around either the outside of the knees or underneath the knees. And if the head and neck will allow, bringing the head up towards the knees. If this is too strenuous on the neck, you can leave the head down. Holding here for a moment and releasing the arms, releasing the head and neck back down, and bringing the feet back down towards the ground. And at your own pace, going through this movement again with your own breathing. And moving back to full lying down position, or what is known as corpse pose, with the feet out straight on the ground, the arms at the sides with the palms facing up. Just being here for a moment with the entire body. And being with the consequences of having done these movements. Lifting just the right knee, bringing the right knee up towards the chest, and wrapping the arms around the knee or underneath. Finding your own limit. Holding here. Lifting the head up towards the knee if the neck will allow. And releasing the head back down towards the ground. Releasing the hands and allowing the right leg to go back to the ground, lying out straight. And going through this movement at your own pace. Being aware of your own limits. Now lifting the left knee up towards the chest. Wrapping the arms with the hands around the left knee or underneath the left knee. Aware of the consequences of moving in this way, the effect it has on the hip, the groin area, the quads. Bringing the head up towards the knee, and being with the changes that occur. Releasing the head back down, releasing the hands, and bringing the leg back down to the ground. And doing this movement one more time at your own pace with your own breathing. Coming back now to corpse pose or lying down position. taking a few breaths here. Being with the body as a whole, lying here, breathing. And we're going to be transitioning into a tabletop position where we're on our hands and knees. But before moving into this next position, it's important to consider this movement as well as something to be aware of. So being aware of the transition to this tabletop position. Doing so now. So the hands underneath the shoulders, so that there's a straight line between the palms and the shoulders. And the knees underneath the butt in the same way, so that there's a straight line. And the back straight, the head and face pointing down. Breathing here for a moment. And moving into what is referred to sometimes as cat and cow position. It is a fluctuation between two different positions. The first being bringing the mid-back up towards the sky and bringing the tailbone down and the head down towards the ground. It's called cat position because it looks a little bit like a scared cat. Bringing the mid-back back down and the tailbone up and the head up, back to center, to tabletop. And then allowing the belly to release, bringing the tailbone up towards the sky and the head and neck up and the back down. Sort of the reverse of the last movement we just did. Coming back to center and tabletop. And then at your own pace, moving between these two movements and being with everything that's occurring in the body as you move. Being aware of finding your own limits, wherever your body will allow you to go to today. Coming back to tabletop position with your hands underneath your shoulders, on your hands and knees. And lifting the right arm up and out straight in front of you. Like, sort of like half of a Superman. being with the changes that have to occur in the left hand and the left arm to make this movement. And if you're able to, only within your own limits, lifting your left leg out straight. Being with the micro movements that the body has to make to keep balance. And bringing the right leg back down, the right knee to the ground, and then the right arm. And then lifting the left arm out straight in front, and lifting the right leg. So we are lifting whatever arm you're lifting, it's also the alternate leg. And being with the body here, balancing. And then coming back to tabletop with the hands and knees on the ground. And moving between these two postures with your own breath at your own pace. Within your own limits. Coming back to all fours or tabletop. Resting here for a moment. Being with the consequences of having done this movement. And transitioning back to lying down position or corpse pose, but being with the transition as well. Lifting the knees up towards the sky so that the bottoms of the feet are on the ground. And moving the feet a little bit closer to the butt this time. And we're going to be moving into a bridge pose. So, lifting the whole pelvis off the ground, up towards the ceiling. So that there's a straight line between the knees and the shoulders. Holding here for a moment and then coming back down. Bringing the pelvis back down to rest on the ground. And at your own pace, going through this movement a few times. And there might be changes that occur in the back, the spine, the legs, the neck, while we do this movement. Bringing the pelvis back down to the ground, lifting the hands up behind the head so that the fingers are interlocked behind the head. Bringing the knees together and allowing the knees to fall to the left side. Finding your own limit. If they can go all the way to the ground, that's okay. If not, just finding the point that they will go to. Lifting the knees back up towards the sky, back to center, and then allowing them to fall to the right. And moving back and forth between these two movements. Remembering that this is a gentle yoga sequence. Bringing the knees back to center, separating the feet a little bit. The arms can come back down on the ground. And bringing the right leg out straight so that it's a few inches off the ground. And lifting the right foot up towards the ceiling. Maybe the lower back will come a little bit off the ground. And if you need to, you can bring the arms around the leg to hold it up. Rotating the foot around the ankle clockwise and counterclockwise, being with the changes that occur in the body just by doing this small movement. Releasing the hands if you had them, holding the leg up and releasing the leg back down towards the ground. And bringing the right knee up so that both knees are pointing towards the ceiling and the bottoms of the feet are on the ground. Pointing the left leg out straight, a few inches off the ground, and lifting the left foot up towards the ceiling. And doing this same movement on the left side. So the arms or hands can come behind the left leg to support it, and rotating the foot around the ankle, clockwise and counterclockwise. Being with what has to happen in the body, the changes in the muscles, the twitching and tension and release as you move in this way. Releasing the hands and releasing the left foot back down to the ground so that the knees are pointing up. Bringing the right leg out straight so it's a few inches off the ground, and lifting the right leg up towards the ceiling and seeing as far as it will go within your limit, bringing the knee up towards the chest, and if the neck will allow, lifting the head towards the knee. And you can put your hands around the leg for support. Being careful not to exceed your own limits. Releasing the head, releasing the arms, and bringing the right leg back down to the ground so that the knee is pointing up and the right foot, the bottom of the right foot is on the ground. And doing the same movement on the other side. Coming now to lying down, corpse pose, and resting here for a moment. Being with the consequences of having done these movements. And transitioning to the left side, lying on the left side, being with the transition as it happens. So the elbow can rest on the ground and the hand can support the head. That would be the left elbow and the left hand, and the right hand can come in front near the abdomen on the ground. And lifting the right leg up towards the sky. With your own breathing, at your own pace. lifting the right leg up and down. Then coming to rest and transitioning to being on your right side so that the right elbow is on the ground and the right hand is supporting the head. Being with the transition as it happens. With the legs out straight, lifting the left leg at your own pace, within your own limits, up towards the sky and back down towards the right leg. Coming to rest here for a moment. And transitioning back to lying down or corpse pose. Being here with the body as a whole, breathing for a moment. And we'll transition now to lying down on our stomachs, but being with the transition as it happens. With the legs out straight and the arms on the side of the body, palms facing up, and the head can point one way or the other, left or right. And then bringing the head to center, resting on the chin, and lifting the right leg up towards the ceiling. Finding your limit, holding for a moment, and then releasing back down towards the ground. And then lifting the left leg up towards the ceiling. Breathing here and releasing back down to the ground. And transitioning between these two legs, lifting up towards the ceiling at your own pace, with your own breathing. Now, lifting both legs up towards the ceiling and lifting the head off the ground up towards the ceiling if the neck will allow. Coming back down to rest, bringing the legs and the head back to the ground. And moving in this way a few times at your own pace, within your own limits. Coming back down to rest with the head pointing one way or the other. And transitioning now to lying down on the back or corpse pose, but being again with the transition. Being here, lying with the body as a whole, breathing. Being aware of what is here now in the body. How is it different than when you started these movements? Being here with the body as a whole. And taking time to express gratitude towards the self for having taken this time to move in this way as a way of taking care of the body.